Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel for everything Arsenal and everything football. Thanks for being here. I hope you're all doing well. As I've said in my previous videos this week, the international break is finally over, man. Some of those games are very boring, like Kazakhstan against Azerbaijan, man. Some terrible, terrible games, but we can finally watch Arsenal. We can finally watch Arsenal against it. We can finally watch Thomas Partey. Zohum, I have Zohum with me. How are you, man?
I'm good, Glenn. Thank you so much for having me. Hello to everyone watching, all the loyal people that come through in the comments and make
Yeah.
things a lot more interesting. Hello to everyone. I hope you're well, like Glenn mentioned. And yeah, finally, man, finally the international break's done. None of these,
Yeah.
in my opinion, pointless games. Like I don't care. I just do not care for international games, and it's party time now, bro.
Do you care for Man City against Arsenal? Because it has been terrible. I was checking the records the other day. Since we last beat City, United, Tottenham, Liverpool, and which team of Chelsea, 40
Mm.
games. I think it's 42 games. The last time we won at Stamford Bridge, 2011, Old Trafford, 2006, Liverpool, 2012. So it's been years. So are you expecting any different this time? Is there anything that's you're more positive about this time?
Of course, I expect a lot different, man. And I expect a lot different going into every game now because of
Yeah.
the way the squad has been shaped by Mikel
Yeah.
Arteta and Edu.
Yeah.
I'm more confident in the vision that we're trying to achieve under our new manager, and
Yeah.
I'm a lot more confident facing off with any of these top six sides, with any side in the Premier League,
Yeah.
because in the time that Arteta has come in, he's made us a lot
Yeah.
more competitive than we've ever been against some of the biggest teams. So I'm very
Mhm.
confident, and I'm actually hoping this will be one of the first of many away victories against the top six sides this season, let alone
Yeah.
in Arteta's tenure.
Yeah, the problem with us in this kind of fixtures, like for example against Chelsea last season, started out the game well, Luis red card. City 0-0 until like the 47th minute, Luis mistake, Luis red card right after halftime, and the game is thrown
Mm.
away. I've seen us losing 6-0 to Chelsea when we've played well, and then someone just one mistake and we collapse. So how can we change that this time? I've seen us collapsing so many times against the big teams. One goal goes in and it's 4-5.
Well, I mean, when you look at those moments, we were playing under managers, with players in a system that, for some reason, concentration wasn't emphasized enough.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a lot of the times in the big games, I always think to myself, guys, please just don't concede a penalty. Don't make a
Yeah,
mistake. Like, just concentrate and stay in the game. Because if you can stay in the game with some of these top six sides, you can get
yeah,
away with something. You can come out with a
yeah.
draw. You can maybe snatch a win. Um, Previously, though, in those games, I always felt like we were the inferior side, and
Uh-huh.
because of that, you always have the mentality that you want to get at least something out of the game. You don't want to lose. You want to keep the scoreline respectable. You want to put in a
Yeah.
performance that makes you proud. Now,
Mm-hmm.
now that Arteta's come in, it's different. I want us to go and dominate those
Mm-hmm.
teams away from
Yeah.
home. I want us to dominate them at home. Right
Yeah.
now, you've seen, for example, at home, our home record has been quite good. We
Mm-hmm.
have been making it more and more of a fortress. But
Yeah.
I feel like whatever Arteta is preaching, the
Yeah.
effort, the concentration, the non-negotiables that he keeps mentioning time and time again,
Mm-hmm.
that's
Mm-hmm.
you see that in the performance of the players, and you see
Yeah.
everybody really stick together. Previously,
Yeah.
when guys made used to make mistakes, they used to shout at each other. Shkodran Mustafi would make a mistake and blame everybody else but himself. Alexis
Uh-huh.
Sanchez would make a mistake and he'd turn around and criticize his players publicly. But
Yeah.
it feels like there's a real togetherness with our players this season under our new manager.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I have confidence that even if we make a mistake, the players will have the effort and the concentration to go at it again and try
Yeah.
again. So,
Yeah.
in as much as I completely understand, man, as an Arsenal fan, we've gone through so many trials and tribulations. But
Yeah. So
under
so the number
Arteta,
one
a lot of things are
the nu-
changing.
sorry. Yeah, the number one thing for you is concentration. That's the one way we can
Concentration.
lose in this game. The second thing for me, I'd say, is our midfield. Last season, when
Mm.
Emerald sacked and Nyumba came in this game against them at the Emirates, De Bruyne totally dominated our midfield, and we had like three defensive midfielders in that game. I think Torreira, Guendouzi, and
Yeah.
someone else, but he totally ran us ragged. So against City, against Liverpool, against Bayern, you have to be strong in the midfield. So do you think we have a better midfield this time round?
Yes, I do. Remember, in that game, Arteta
Yeah,
was on the opposite bench
yeah,
as they beat us 3-0.
yeah,
And so it just shows like it was before his arrival, obviously. And
hmm,
that's because Unai Emery, in as much as he might think he had a game plan, it didn't
yeah,
necessarily translate on the players themselves. So Kevin
hmm,
De Bruyne looked a lot better than most Premier League teams will allow him to look.
yeah,
However, now we have, even in some of the more defensive formations that we play, even like
yeah,
we had three midfielders on De Bruyne in that one picture. But
yeah,
if Thomas Partey doesn't start, for example, it's going to be
yeah,
Ceballos and Xhaka. And yet, in Ceballos, in Xhaka, I would have had
yeah,
more confidence in our two midfielders facing off
yeah,
against the three midfielders of Man City come
yeah,
Saturday. So that
yeah,
just speaks to the organization, the concentration, the cohesion as well. Because
yeah,
Xhaka and Ceballos, in as much as yes, they probably would like an extra midfielder to help them out, they
yeah,
probably still feel more confident going up against this Man City side than they did
yeah,
against Man City with Unai Emery. So for me, regardless of who plays, I'm still more than comfortable that we can get, and sorry, not more than comfortable, more than confident that we can get
yeah,
a result, regardless of the formation that we play, regardless of the
yeah,
personnel that we use. So,
hmm,
I mean, it's not necessarily a given that Xhaka and Ceballos will start. Arteta
yeah.
could opt for Xhaka's El Neni or maybe El Neni Ceballos. You know, so
And
it's gonna be interesting to see. It's gonna be interesting to see.
so, would you start this guy? Do you think he can make the difference in this game?
Definitely. Definitely. I'm starting him. I said this on my own podcast, the Nearly
Yeah,
Footballers podcast. We did an episode with a couple of my friends and a
hmm,
Liverpool fan. And I said it
hmm,
categorically. He starts.
hmm,
This guy was
hmm,
bought for 45 million pounds. First of all, that's a steal. That's a
hmm,
steal. For a world class
hmm,
holding midfielder, that's a steal.
yeah,
Second of all, he's being paid 250K a week.
hmm,
Boss, we have to
hmm,
use him. Third,
uh-huh,
third, and the most
hmm,
important reason is the footballing
hmm,
reason. This guy has come
hmm,
from the third biggest club in Spain.
uh-huh,
He has faced off against the best midfielders, the most technically gifted midfielders, and the most
yeah,
challenging to defend against in Spain.
yeah,
He's played against Liverpool, and he had an
yeah,
amazing game against them in both legs in the Champions League. Like this guy can do it at
hmm,
the highest level. You
hmm,
understand what I mean?
yeah,
If we had signed, let me just give you this example. If we had signed Declan Rice on transfer
hmm,
deadline day, right?
hmm,
Would you start him? A lot of people would say yes. I don't know if you would say yes, but a lot of people would say yes because he's a Premier League proven player. For me,
uh-huh,
uh, Thomas Partey is a Ghanaian international, and he is not only a proven player in La Liga, but also a proven player in the Champions League, and that's the biggest
hmm.
tournament league in the world.
I think that matters. That kind of matters. Okay, for me, that doesn't matter. Like where they're coming from, whether they have that experience. The thing for me, I wouldn't start him. Why? Because I feel
Mm,
like you need a couple of days and a couple of weeks to adapt the style of play. I know with your experience,
mm,
you can just slot straight in, but will you know where Willian wants the ball? Do you know where Shaka will be in case you play next to
mm,
him? All that needs to like you have to stay with someone or play with someone for quite a while. But as you've said, this is the kind of game we want him to play in. So that's the third
mm.
thing. Midfield, Thomas Partey, he can make the difference. And the last thing I want to talk about is the strikers. We saw Lacazette getting a couple of chances away to Liverpool. He scuffed them. So against these big teams, big chances, you have to take them. Would you start these two guys, and do you expect them to at least take their chances this time round?
I would start them. Of course, Aubameyang starts. That's never a question. Lacazette,
Mm-hmm,
there's always a big question mark about him, but his
mm-hmm,
record. at Arsenal has been very good against the top six and in the big
Yeah.
games. He's
Yeah.
scored against Man City before. He's scored against Liverpool. He scored against Tottenham. I don't know if
Yeah.
he scored against Chelsea. He scored against United. Like he scored against
Yeah.
all the big sides. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he was let down. He let himself down in
Yeah.
the previous game, right?
Yeah.
But I genuinely believe, and maybe now it's more hope than belief.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
still hope that this is going to be a big season for Lacazette, and that's partially because of the arrival of someone like Thomas Partey. I always mention on this show, whenever I talk
Yeah.
about Arsenal, I always talk about the formation, which is going to be a huge thing, right? Now,
Yeah.
when you talk about the Thomas Partey issue, I just want to go back to it. Mikel Arteta today in his press conference mentioned that he will see if Thomas Partey is ready to start this game,
Yeah.
because even if he does play, he would have only had 2 training sessions with his new
Mm-hmm.
teammates. And
Yeah.
obviously, you're right. Chemistry is a big thing.
Yeah.
Those fine details, how Willian plays, knowing how Granit
Yeah.
Xhaka plays, knowing how Ceballos plays, knowing our
Yeah.
system in terms of going back and defending, that's huge.
Yeah.
And I completely
Yeah.
agree. This is a massive game and it's a big risk. But
So
Thomas
yeah. So
Partey, if
that
he clicks,
yeah. Yeah. Go
sorry,
ahead.
Thomas Partey, if he clicks and he
Mm-hmm.
gets and Arteta gets to play him in the formation that we play,
Mm-hmm.
we might not just win against City. We might even dominate them. We might
That
even
would be good.
dominate them away from home. And that's the kind of statement that I want to see happen. I want us to go and win a game away from home against the top 2 sides in the league and dominate them away from
Yeah,
home.
like
So
5-2, like Leicester did.
yeah, and it's highly possible. Like they're there for the taking. These players didn't have amazing performances. The City players, I mean, they didn't have amazing
Yeah.
performances in what do you call it? The international games. Kyle Walker
Yeah.
gave away a penalty before the international break. He gave away a penalty. His confidence isn't going to be the highest. Mendy as well.
Mendy.
He's a blunder machine. Yeah, Ruben
So for your
Diaz is
lineup,
there to sorry, Ruben Diaz as well. He's fresh at the
yeah.
Premier League, but he's gonna start. Gabriel started,
Yeah.
and I know he was against Fulham, and
Yeah.
I know maybe it was easier to come in a back three, but he started. And you see,
Yeah.
these are the kind of players you want to come in and make an immediate impact. So for me, I really hope he starts, and at the same
Yeah.
time, just like you, if he starts, you hope he has a great performance, because at the end of the day, we're Arsenal fans.
Okay. So the other day, I put out a lineup in my prediction, my preview, and this is the
Mm.
lineup I would go for. Let me know any changes you'd make to that lineup.
Let me have a look. Wow.
Formation wise,
Formation wise, it's essentially you bench Willian, and the changes that you make is that there's since you don't think there's Kieran Tierney, you put
yeah,
Maitland-Niles at left back. Look, I mean, this
yeah,
is a side that we essentially beat. What do you call this guy? What do you call this team? This is the side essentially that we beat Man City in the FA Cup, isn't
yeah,
it? Apart
yeah,
from KT for Gabriel. However, I
yeah,
wonder if this is going to be too defensive, because you know
mm-hmm,
more than anybody else that
mm-hmm,
Gabriel's position is taken up by KT to offer us an attacking threat going forward, right?
yeah,
So I
yeah,
wonder if this setup will be too defensive and we lose
yeah,
some of that attacking verve. Because if you do that, then you're basing your attacking threat off Bellerin, Niles, Xhaka, Ceballos, Lacazette, Aubameyang, and Pepe. Whereas you rob us now of that one player, Kieran Tierney, who adds an extra level of threat, and also
yeah,
Maitland-Niles. What he likes to do, or what he's told to do, is when Kieran Tierney moves up, he tucks
yeah,
in to give us more protection. So now we have more
yeah,
numbers in midfield, but at the same time, more protection to protect us from being counterattacked, which can happen with the players that these guys have. Riyad Mahrez, danger. Raheem Sterling,
yeah,
danger and pace. And Aguero might start as well.
yeah,
So I hear you, but I wouldn't go with this formation.
yeah. What would be a formation in your starting lineup? Just quickly.
It's pretty much similar players, except Holding
Yeah,
gets out, right?
holding.
Uh,
Uh-huh.
I would put Maitland-Niles as left back, or sorry, not Maitland-Niles, Saka as my left back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in a back
Left wing
four.
back, yeah.
Uh,
In a back
yeah,
four.
no, no,
Mm-hmm.
no, in a back four. Yeah, David
Mm-hmm.
Luiz and Gabriel as the center backs, and obviously
Yeah,
Bellerin right back.
Yeah.
And then in midfield, like I said, I
Yeah.
mean, I want Thomas Partey to start. So I want Xhaka at the base of midfield, and in front of him are Ceballos and Thomas Partey. And then I'd start
Yeah.
Willian on the left,
Yeah.
Aubameyang up top, and Pepe on the
Yeah.
right.
And you think you can beat City?
With that squad, yeah. I think, look, Glenn,
Yeah.
I know things need to fall into place. I know you need a bit of luck. I know you need
Yeah.
to take your chance. I get all that. But the
Yeah.
organization and the defensive solidity that we have currently is
Hmm.
something that I'm willing to bank on to
Yeah.
try and risk going forward and being more adventurous.
Yeah. So what is your prediction?
Man, I'm confident. Like I said, I am. I am confident, Glenn.
Hmm.
My prediction is a 2-1 win for Arsenal.
Wow, that would be the first time we've beaten a top six club away from home since 2015, and that was City. And that day, guess what happened? We played defensively.
Yeah, we did. Santi Cazorla and Giroud, kicking us on. However,
Yeah.
a big shout, and this is more out of the footballing side. This is more the stadium and the fans.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
no home fans, and traditionally
Yeah.
now, or rather more recently now, away teams do a lot better than home teams. At some point,
Yeah.
remember I did mention before the international break,
Yeah.
by match day 3, 61% of the goals scored in the Premier League season so far were by away
Yeah.
teams.
Yeah.
That's a huge stat. So I think we have a big chance going against some of these teams away from home. So
Yeah.
let's hope let's hope it plays to our advantage. What's your
So
prediction?
Zoom, so Zoom thinks we can beat City. I went for 2-2 in my prediction. By the time I put this video out, my preview, the City fan, will be out. So I'll link it up in the YouTube card and in the description.
Cool.
He actually said he's expecting a tougher game than over the years. So he said 2-1 to City, but a closer game. He's actually afraid of the likes of Xhaka and Aubameyang. So at least they're kind of afraid this time it's not going to be a hammering. So thank you, Zoom, for coming on. Your Twitter account is scrolling at the bottom, so they can follow
Yeah,
you there. Thank you very
and
much
it's
for
the
coming
same
on.
one. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. It's the same one
Yeah,
for
yeah,
Instagram as well. I'd
yeah.
appreciate the love and the support. I follow back as well, so that would be great. And thank you so much for having me again, Glenn. Hopefully
Thank,
next week we meet up again and we're reviewing an amazing win.
thank you very much, man.
Come on,
Everybody,
you
check out
Gunners.
my other video. Come on, you Gunners. Thank you for watching. Keep staying safe, and I'll catch up with you guys later.